Hello, my fellow curious minds, and welcome to the very first episode of Tech Advantage. So, I was able to share a trailer last week, and I honestly do appreciate you guys for your listens, follows, shares, because the turnout was really massive. We were able to get 120 listens on the first trailer. This is a really great for a start because I was looking forward to like 50 to 70 as a threshold, but we grew way past that. Thank you guys for being here again, and I'm so glad you're here. So, for a long time, I've always wanted to start this podcast, and it's so easy to procrastinate on things that ultimately would be beneficial to you. Maybe because we might feel we're not so ready, but I'm just here right now, doing it in the best possible way that I can to keep you guys engaged and document my journey so far. Now, this podcast is where I'll share content on technology, software development, building, and running a startup, and also big ideas. My goal is simple. I just want to create a space where we explore technology, entrepreneurship, and growth together. So, now, my tech journey. To kick things off, let me just give you guys a bit about my journey in tech. So, unlike many who dive straight into tech out of passion and clear path in their vision, my story is a bit different. Growing up, I actually wanted to study architectural engineering, and that was my passion because I was so into art at that time. I could draw and I made a house out of cartons and all of those kind of stuff. I felt like architectural engineering was my calling. I was going to pursue this all my life. But then when it was time to go to university, my dad told me I had to go to Gombe State University due to the reason of finance at that time. So when I got ready, I registered, I wrote JAM, I scored about 262. And I registered to the Department of Computer Science because that was like the only available course that I feel like relates to me in any way. Because prior to that time, I was into computers, I did hardware engineering, I dismantled motherboards, assembled them, do CPU stuff, all of those PC upgrades and component stuff like that. Yeah. So that was like my major thing during that time. I also attended some software boot camp. I attended a WordPress boot camp. They taught us how to use some content management systems to build websites. I think WordPress and Wix was the majors at that time, and that was all we covered during those boot camps. So that was the major reason why I just chose computer science as an option. And when I made my application, I was taken into the department as the second candidate. Yeah. So after that, I had, a 4 year journey that changed everything for me. And over the time, I genuinely got interested into programming, software development, and the broader world of technology. So my journey throughout this degree pursuit was a hell of a story, which I'll share some other time. But I was just able to eventually graduate as a first class computer science student. I was among the top 7 in the department, I think. Yeah, so let me be clear. I don't really believe that a degree is what makes you successful in software engineering in any way. To me, what really matters is curiosity and consistency. The top 1% of engineers are not those with certificates and stuff, but people who constantly learn, stay up to date with new tech stacks, and are obsessed with understanding how technology works. That curiosity is the real fuel for success. So, all through my study, I had one thought at the back of my mind. Once I graduated, I was going to delve into the business of technology. When I was 16, I had come up with a brand name for a tech startup. That's if I was ever going to like register one. Like if I was ever going to start a tech company, I had come up with the name Bluemind. And this name had sunk into my mind as at that time during my undergraduate pursuits, I got into an entrepreneurship contest So I pitched the business idea and I still use the Bluemind as a tech company, you know, providing digital services. We just did that for the fun of it. I didn't really know that that would channel or like be a journey for me in my entrepreneurship game. But that really pushed me a little bit because I was so unexperienced with business, but some way somehow I had no choice but to study business, what it takes to make a successful pitch. I had drafted a business plan just so we could come out at the top three for that contest. So I didn't really make top three, but according to that event, I feel like my business is one of those that were ever able to like become a reality because just a few did. So once I graduated, I decided to build a tech startup. First off, I registered a company like a few months back, just July. It wasn't really immediately after I graduated, sure, but the whole idea I had been working towards it, but it only became feasible for the registration as at July 25th. So I gathered so many resources and ideas over the years, and I understood that in today's world, the real value lies in turning skills into enterprise. So many developers that I know, they don't really understand the enterprise aspect of the skill they have. They do not really see their skill as providing value on an enterprise level. They always want to reach out to companies and then give their skill to them that would ultimately make a lot more money out of them than they would individually. So this is not really like a bad thing. It's great because not everybody's going to run a company. But then for me, I understood that on an enterprise level, the game is totally different. And this was why I decided to take this route. So that was what led to the birth of Bluemind Technologies Limited, the company that I co-founded with my team. So Bluemind is a technology company with the vision of providing businesses with whatever technology they need, from hardware to software solutions like SaaS products, productivity tools, database systems. You just think about it. Before this, I had already worked as a freelancer, build websites for clients, and I have been privileged to intern for some startups as well as technology companies. This experience gave me insight into how enterprises operate, both on the technical and business sides. Right now, Bluemind doesn't have a single flagship product in the market, but we plan to launch within the first 6 to 8 months. And yes, AI will be a part of everything we build because we understand where the market is going. So just a few weeks back, I attended the developers boot camp, and it was such an eye-opening experience for me because I met some amazing people that we still keep in touch till now, including Bernard, the CEO of BitNub, and Julian, an ex-engineer at MoneyPoint. These guys spoke to us, gave us some insight on how the technology market works and how developers ought to see things rather than we currently do. These encounters reminded me of the saying iron sharpens iron. So I always thrive to find myself in places and gatherings of people that I feel like they have the same kind of minds that I do. Because when you surround yourself by like-minded people that dream big, you feel energized to push beyond your limits. And I feel this should be like the this should be hammered upon more than it currently is in the developer space. Personally, I even got an opportunity to intern with BitNup, but I haven't been able to see through this due to my own commitments. But I still am for sure certain that one way or another I would find my way back to seizing that opportunity. The main essence why I thought I was gonna like that would be a good idea for me is because I need to sharpen my skill as a developer by working adequately with like a software engineering team where we could deploy products successfully, see the whole process to that, and find ways to implement that in Bluemind. One thing I want to leave you with today is as Africans, we often feel like we're left behind in technology. But we do have the talent and the drive to compete globally. The difference is how we build. Most of us, too often, we just rely on tools that get stuff done without really understanding the fundamentals of how things work. Yes, tools are helpful, but true innovation comes when we dig deeper, when we understand the nooks and crannies of technology. So that's how we'll build world class products that can compete in the global stage from Africa. So thank you so much for sticking with me through the first episode of Tech Advantage. I really appreciate your time here. This podcast is my way of sharing not just my journey, but also strategies, tools, stories that will inspire and empower us to build better. Along the way, I'll bring in other great minds, you know, co founders, software engineers, business people, friends and co workers, colleagues. I'll find great minds that would share with you guys their own journey also so that you can be informed and motivated. So please do me a favor if this episode resonates with you, follow the podcast and share it with one friend who's passionate about technology, entrepreneurship, or growth. I'll be back very soon. Within the next week, episode 2 will be out. But until then, keep learning, keep building, and remember, technology is your advantage. Thank you and stay blessed.